this. Wish I could post a link over here. All right, it looks like we are good to go. We are live. I'm live, it's just me. I don't know what this we shit is. I'm used to saying we because, you know, Anthony's here, but Anthony's not here tonight, so I guess we get to play, you and I, with each other. All right, so let me get the links here and get everything shared out before we start rocking and rolling. And I will be sharing to Twitter and Minds, and we've got some help with sharing out to other platforms as well. See if I can find what I'm looking for. Is it me you're looking for? All right, so we've got, yes, thank you for joining. And if you are watching on the TikTok version, where we're live, feel free to share out, or, you know, if you want the full show, please head on over to our YouTube link in the description. And we're going to move this pickle boy. Oh, yeah. Sticky. Guess that's why it works. All right. Here we go. Appreciate your patience as we get this party started. What's up, sexy? Mr. Ryan is joining us on a Friday night. All right, let me find my links here. And we will get this party started. Now, I am to understand that some of you are already drinking tonight, which makes me really jealous because, you know, there was a reason that I didn't want to do live shows on Friday nights, and I think this was it because, you know, everybody gets to go have a good time, and I can't. It's not fair. It's not fair. That's all right. I don't drink much anyway, so... All right, and my keyboard needs a good old charge because it's not wanting to work very well. That's all right. We will get through this together, you and I. Stick with me for just a couple minutes. Crap. Of course, I can't see which ones I haven't typed in. There we go. All right. I don't have the YouTube link just yet. There we go. Now I do. 3 watching on the YouTubes. Copy link. All right. And if you guys could do me a favor and help me share this out, that would be greatly appreciated. I'm almost ready. Live now. Control Alt, Control C. I hope that worked. We'll know in just a moment when it doesn't let me work here. All right. Hey, there we go. We got it. Boy, and all I see on the screenshot is my dusty ass hat. I may or may not have been working today. All right. So let's go ahead and get this party started. Hey, what's up, Dan? You're his viewer. Lady Della, watching rerun of Bandon's War Room. All right. So, yeah, we've just recently started what's it called? Rumble channel. It's like a YouTube alternative where people can post videos and compete and actually earn money. And I don't know. I'm going to try it out. So, I mean, y'all can feel free to find us over there. And we're going to be releasing our Frosty the Snowman video on that platform when we get the chance to. I think that'll be pretty cool. And that's coming up on the Thanksgiving Day, whatever day that ends up being. It's a Thursday, so it'll be out, and I'll be posting it in a number of spots. So, yeah, any kind of help I can get sharing that would be awesome. I have a feeling this one's going to be a good one. Everybody that's listened to it so far seems to really enjoy it. Seems like a lot of fun. So, silly redhead, welcome. All right, let's get this party started, shall we? So while Anthony's out, looks like I get to play. I get to talk about topics that Anthony don't either want to talk about or like to talk about. So guess what? We're talking about religion and cryptocurrency, especially since Bitcoin's gone up to about 16,000 plus recently. That's going to be awesome. So stay tuned for that tonight on the Unframe of Mind show.
You're listening to the Unframe of Mind show, the place to have the most mind-stretching, unprotected, intellectual intercourse of your life. Your hosts battle the forces of evil by lobbing fiery balls of truth, reason, and evidence over safe room walls.
And welcome back to the Unframe of Mind show, where we have uncomfortable conversations without a condom. I'm your host, Daniel Wagner. And Anthony Trawick isn't here, so it's his loss. Oh well. I'll handle it. All right. Somebody let me know. Well, I guess I am live on Facebook. That's usually where we get the most of our views. However, I'm only seeing a couple people showing up there. I've got 3 on the YouTubes, a couple on the Facebook, still rolling in. All right, welcome back. And tonight, I got a few topics to cover with you guys, namely talking about religion, atheism. I'm talking about the similarities that a lot of people deny are in existence, but are certainly there between the Christian and the Muslim cultures. That ought to be interesting. And I want to talk about cryptocurrency insofar as this shit has suddenly ballooned up and why it's important and why it's ballooning up. And, you know, I'm not going to give you investing advice, because I'm not a financial advisor, but, you know, I'm just saying, you know, some things might be worth checking out is what I'm getting at. So let's go ahead and hop on into today's Phobismus before we get started, and I'll need just a moment to prepare for that.
Phobismus.
All right. I almost forgot the most important thing. There we go. Excellent. Okay. So I'd like to welcome you all to another episode of the Phobismist. And on tonight's episode of the Phobismist, I want to tell you guys why you guys should be offended by Veterans Day. Veterans Day is very offensive. It's very offensive, and it's rather problematic, and I need you guys to understand this. So, I just want to let you know I'm currently broadcasting from my safe room here, where nobody can get to me. I'm perfectly safe. I'm okay. I'm protected. There's some very very good looking men outside watching my every move, making sure I'm okay, feeding me well. And I want to let you guys know why Veterans Day is rather problematic. I know everybody likes to get all touchy-feely, heartfelt, and want to, you know, celebrate the holiday. But the thing is that there's a lot of problems that are present when you want to talk about Veterans Day, and namely, what I want to point out is a lot of people recognize Veterans Day as a day when men and women who have served in the military are honored. And the problem is that leaves out a large majority of the population who are neither men nor women. And it just feels very exclusionary that we can't celebrate all the other genders. So Veterans Day needs to, we need to update to the definition, I think, or just at least recognize that there's a lot of non-binary people serving in the military that don't feel recognized and acknowledged on Veterans Day. It's really heartbreaking. It really is. And it's also exclusionary because, you know, there's all the other people out there that have also, you know, served to help those who served in the military. You know, people that supplied their food, or, you know, the guys that work over at the tire factory and supply the rubber. These soldiers could not have done their jobs if it wasn't for all of the people supplying them with their goods. So I feel like we need to include all of those people as well. And while we're at it, you know, all those people that work at, you know, supplying the tires, they couldn't do their jobs if they weren't supplied by people who work at like grocery stores and restaurants and things like that. Because, you know, you got to be able to eat to do that hard work of creating tires so that you can give the tires to the military so they can put them on their little Humvees and stuff, you know? So there's like a whole bunch of people that are involved in a peripheral way. What's the word? Peripherally. And they don't get acknowledged. It's not fair. It's really not fair. I really feel like we're missing a whole segment of the population, non-binary people and other service industries that don't get recognized. And even, you know, we can go even farther. The people at the restaurants that work there, they need to make, you know, they can't do their job without, you know, farmers growing food and ranchers raising cattle. It's ridiculous. So I just need you to understand this. And that's not even it. There's so many ways this thing's problematic. Don't even get me started. So I found out that the difference, and a lot of people get this confused, the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day is Memorial Day is a day to honor those who served in the military who have died. Veterans Day is to honor those who served in the military living and dead. So now you have dead soldiers double dipping into the holiday pool and taking twice as many holidays for themselves. That's just rude. That's selfish. I think that's a little bit of white privilege. I really do. Also unacceptable. So we need to make sure that we, you know, cut in half the amount, or however many people died, and, you know, just keep them, they have a holiday, Memorial Day. But the veterans who are still living, you know, just make Veterans Day about them. You know, it's not fair that we got a bunch of dead people double dipping into the holiday like a bunch of Biden voters post-election. It's not right. So keep that in mind next time you celebrate Veterans Day. It's I just can't. I just can't.
Faux business. Faux business. Faux business.
All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that little episode of the Phobismist. Yeah, I think honestly, that guy might have a point. Y'all should listen to that guy, professional phobismist. All right, so we got so a couple drinkers in the comments tonight. What's going on? The tire guys get shot at. The tire guy gets shot. Yeah, definitely. All right. Lips are numb. Can't believe I can type. So, Krista, you must be feeling quite ripe for the evening. All right, so I'm going to jump into the, what do you say? We go with the Bitcoin angle tonight. I don't know how many of you have actually heard of Bitcoin. If you've watched the show for any amount of time, I talk about it all the time, and it's pretty awesome. Hey, welcome those who are joining the TikTok. Head on over to my links in my bio. Head on over, and you can see the full show on our live stream on YouTube and Facebook. All right, so right now, as you can see by this chart, Bitcoin has shot quite a bit recently. I think within this is a chart that shows from the last year the amount of growth that's happened, and it bottomed out around 3,000 or so. If I can get it on 38.58 was the lowest, and within a year it's shot up to about 16,000, and this is actually the highest it's been since 2017 when it almost touched $20,000 for one Bitcoin. And D says, this is my Bitcoin lesson. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not so much giving a Bitcoin lesson insofar as the basics of Bitcoin, but I think there's an FAQ by PayPal that I'll be covering that'll help cover some of that for you. And I'm sitting here watching this shoot up especially over the last month or so, and I'm like, what is going on? I'm one of those guys that sets it and forgets it, and I just kind of put my crypto, I buy a little bit each week. I buy $10 a week, nothing that I'm not afraid to lose, and I just want to see what happens with it. So I throw that in there, and then I head on over to Coinbase or wherever you check your price charts at once in a blue moon just to see how it's done. And now keep in mind, when I first started this, when I first started paying attention, this stuff was $124 for one Bitcoin, $124. Like, holy crap, it was ridiculous. And I thought that was expensive at the time. I really did. I had no idea we were getting ready to shoot to these kinds of numbers. And, back then I'm thinking $124. Wow, that's a lot. I don't have $124. And I wished I had known known then what I know now. And that is that you can actually buy a portion of a Bitcoin. A lot of people don't know that. They think you have to buy a full one coin and that's it. But it's like almost infinitely divisible. I think it breaks down to like 8 decimal points. Like it's a lot. You can have like a 0.000001 Bitcoin. What's called Satoshis is anything that's less than a Bitcoin. And I wish I'd have done that. I wish I'd have started my strategy of investing $10 a week back then. Holy crap. From what I understand, only about 1% of the population right now can say they own a full Bitcoin. I am not part of the top 1%. I wish I could be, but I'm not. I'm not quite there. But I'm working on it. So here's the thing. Recently, the Bitcoin price started rising. And this is from decrypto.co. We've got a number of reasons why the Bitcoin price is rising. And just to give a quick brief, Bitcoin's price has been increasing for months, and there are several reasons behind the surge. High-profile bit figures and companies have expressed support for Bitcoin, and other reasons include the Bitcoin halving, which also have a direct impact on Bitcoin's price. I'm not going to explain what the halving is right now. That's for another show. And if you're watching me over on the TikTok, hey guys, you can head over to my link in my bio and you can watch the full live show. It looks much better than this. Look forward to seeing you over there and subscribe. All right, so number one, why is Bitcoin going up? We've got, I don't care about a number of these institutional investors, but the one I'm really interested in is, let me find it. I know it's here somewhere. Yes, the halving has something. Okay, here it is. PayPal and cryptocurrency. This is a pretty big move, and I don't think a lot of people are even aware that it's happened. But right now, Bitcoin just announced they are allowing people to buy cryptocurrency through their platform. And the reason that's such a big deal is because now all of a sudden you're able to use Bitcoin as your medium of exchange if you want to. If somebody wants to accept Bitcoin for payment, it makes it so much easier. Like, holy crap. That was part of the biggest issue with this stuff in the past, was it was really hard to get somebody the payment they needed without them having to go and set up all the infrastructure and learn how to do a wallet. And this allows you to keep a little of your Bitcoin on your PayPal account and just pay people directly. All right. Don't know much at all. I'm really ignorant on Bitcoin stuff, hoping to learn more. Yeah, Lady Della from YouTube, I would definitely recommend, and we can talk more in detail during the Zoom call, the private group member Zoom call after the show. Yeah, this is something that's going to be, as big of a change as credit cards was for the world. I honestly think cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and stuff is going to be that next big change. I'm sure you're old enough to remember back when people were like very hesitant to use credit cards. And then another wave when people were really hesitant to use credit cards on the internet. Like, to think that you would have your credit card information on the internet was terrifying at one point. I think Bitcoin's going to be that next step. So the fact that PayPal has started to accept that is a huge deal. Jack Dorsey's Cash App. He's the guy that runs or owns Twitter, but he also owns Cash App. And the Cash App has already been doing this, making it where I can convert Bitcoin over to USD and pay for products and services if I want to. So I do want to hit. Let me see here. Number 5. Okay, so from news.bitcoin.com, PayPal opens crypto services to millions of eligible account holders in the U.S. All eligible PayPal account holders in the U.S. can now buy, hold, and sell cryptocurrency direct within PayPal. It would support Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin. For just a little clarity, those are just basically, think of it like you got USD and you've got the Chinese yen, you've got the euro. Well, these are like other types of currency. So just kind of view it like that, like different currencies from different countries. But in this case, they're just different cryptocurrencies that operate differently and have different value propositions. All right. Dan says, don't trust it. They're going to pull another Facebook. I'm not really sure what that means because that's not how it operates. Something to understand is Bitcoin is decentralized, as in nobody owns it. It's not like we got one Zuckerberg at the top that can just control everything. It is decentralized. And I can get into all these details later on. I don't want to make this segment much larger than it has to be, but I just wanted to really point to this specific major revolution in cryptocurrency. Chris has said, I'm totally not paying attention. It's okay. It's okay. This is why when Anthony's away, I get to talk about the things I want to talk about. All right. So if you are interested, and you have a PayPal account, which most people do, head on over and try it out and see what it feels like. Just study it a little bit, learn it. What is cryptocurrency? According to PayPal, is a digital or virtual currency that is created by cryptography. It is not physical and not issued by a central authority, such as the US dollar. It utilizes a decentralized network and works through a distributed ledger technology known as a blockchain. These are all important vocabulary terms, very basic vocabulary terms for anybody who's into Bitcoin and into the cryptocurrency industry. Learn them, people. Learn them. So what cryptocurrencies does PayPal support? We've already covered that. Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin, even though there are thousands of them, they support those four main ones, which happen to be the top ones at the moment. So what is the difference between cryptocurrencies? And it gives a description of what those differences are. Basically says Bitcoin is, one country and they do this and they believe their money works this way. Ethereum is another country and they operate this way, so on and so forth. Anybody in the U.S. except Hawaii can buy, sell, and hold cryptocurrencies. Now that's messed up. Why Hawaii is singled out? I'm going to have to look into that. Do I need to sign up for anything? Oh, all you need to do is confirm some account information during your first purchase. All right. And there are no transaction fees when buying or selling crypto with PayPal until 2021. And there are no fees for holding crypto in your account. I like that. All right. We've already covered Veterans Day. So I guess we'll move on to the next thing. I believe I'm losing people, and that's okay. If you guys had any idea what I'm even talking about, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. But yeah, I definitely wanted to talk about it in more detail with you guys later on during the private Zoom call. So make sure you're there for that, and I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. It's much easier for me to do the question-answer format on that particular conversation. So we've got some news about, although Ticketmaster has denied it had come to a final decision on whether to mandate a vaccine certification to allow people to buy tickets, many expressed their agreement with the idea, with one commenting, "Inject me now." So a report, and this is from TrueNewsHub.com. Okay. A report in Billboard magazine claimed that the ticketing company would mandate customers to prove they had a negative COVID test or had taken a vaccine before their purchase was approved. In news arrived shortly after it was announced that drug company Pfizer had developed a coronavirus vaccine with a 90% success rate, which that's a whole interesting story in and of itself. So, however, while Ticketmaster admitted it was exploring the idea, the company released a statement saying there will be absolutely no requirement for mandated vaccines. Yay. All right, so Ticketmaster does not have the power to set policies around safety entry requirements, which would include vaccines or testing protocols, said the company, adding that such a decision would be in the hands of the event organizer. So despite this, according to a BBC News report, a majority of fans welcome the move if it would mean the resumption of live music. Can you imagine, for a second, just missing live music so much that you're just like, you know what? Fuck it. Shoot me up. Inject me with a needle. I'm good with that. Put this experimental vaccine in me. I'll take it. Yeah, put it in me. I just want to go fucking see Tool play live. That's all. Like, really? I mean, I'm sorry. There's no way that I'm going to be... I love live music. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love going to concerts, especially like rock concerts and getting in the mosh pit and just acting a damn fool. But if it means I'm required to show that I'm vaccinated to get into it, I'll go somewhere else. You know, I'll find some bands that are like okay with not requiring it. That's assuming that the U.S. government under Biden's administration doesn't decide to make it a mandatory, requirement that you get vaccinated. Oh boy, that's going to be interesting. So, I mean, there's always local bands. There's always, smaller venues that would be happy to have you. I guess I'm going to start to see smaller shows. I guess I'm going to have a backyard events with local bands, and we'll pay them that way. We'll do what we have to. But good Lord, we can do live music without requiring a vaccination. That's ridiculous. But here's the thing, though. I'm like amazed that some people are that desperate to see live music that they're just like, you know what? I'll take the shot. Just inject me now. Says at what _Stace_said on Twitter. Honestly, I would do anything to go to a concert right now, added another. And then somebody else says they're going to do a similar thing for air travel. I would feel comfortable testing before a concert to be safe. Others criticize the move, with 90s pop band Right said Fred, warning here it is. Vaccines will be mandatory in all but name. In fact, if you read the original Billboard magazine Twitter thread, the clear majority of responses were given the idea completely contradicting the BBC's claim that the majority of fans welcome the move. Oh, a majority of the responses were against the idea, completely contradicting the claim that the majority of fans welcomed the move. Oh, okay. So I'm assuming the BBC made it look like that's not surprising. That's not surprising at all. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not happening. I'm not doing that. All right. Krista said they won't be getting my money. Lady Della says sheep got a sheep. Yeah. If you're going to be a sheep, might as well do it right. I mean, I got a number of people even talking about it's the mark of the beast. They're going to put a tracking chip in you, which is total bullshit. But still, I'm not about it. I'm not interested, especially when they're just barely getting this thing out. Now, interestingly enough, we've got Dr. Fauci saying when we'd return to normalcy. And I posted about this earlier. I posted about this earlier in the Unframed Minds group, and Dr. Fauci just said we'd return to normal. Let me find the quote here, so make sure story continues. I don't care to read that. Okay, I think he says, let me see. He says if we get a reasonably effective, say 75% effective vaccine, whatever that means. Hey, what's up? If you're watching if you're watching over here on TikTok, head over to my main channel. Links in description, and you can see the full live show with all the graphics and articles I'm talking about as well. So that's over at unframeofmind.com or anywhere at unframeofmind. Same tag, same name, same handle everywhere you go. All right, but Dr. Fauci says, but if we get a reasonably effective, say 75% effective vaccine, and a substantial portion of the population takes the vaccine, I think we're going to be going in the right direction toward approaching some degree of normality as we head into 2021, in the second, third, and fourth quarter of 2021. So that's good news. So I find that interesting, that exact time frame. As we head into 2021 in the second, third, and fourth quarter. As in, not in the first quarter when, current running President Trump is still in office, but, maybe after Biden takes office, we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and just consider it. Okay, folks, you can return back to normal now. Disaster's over. And I don't know how many people sat there and called this crap that it's going to be mysteriously vanish on election day. Well, it couldn't disappear on election day because we have unclear results. So if it's going to mysteriously vanish, it's going to have to mysteriously vanish on another day. And I'm guessing as we make it closer to the actual transition of power, as Biden takes the presidency, assuming he wins, suddenly COVID-19's all gone. It's all bad. Everybody's fine. We can return back to normal, guys. It's okay. False alarm. We're good. The rates are going down. I guess the 99% survival rate doesn't really matter as much. Fun stuff. So I find this funny. The article goes on later, says what to do until then to avoid death. Like, are you serious right now? Like the way we write articles now. It's hilarious. You would have never seen this shit back, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Let's see what advice they give. So it says, as for yourself, do everything you can to prevent getting and spreading COVID-19 in the first place. Wear your face mask, get tested if you think you have the coronavirus, avoid crowds and bars and house parties, practice social distancing, only run essential errands, wash your hands regularly, disinfect frequently, touch surfaces, and to get through this pandemic at your healthiest, don't miss these 35 places you're most likely to catch COVID. Thank you. Now I'm interested. 35 places. It's an essential ranking before you step out. State parks. Really? That's number 1 on the list? Threat level 2. Getting gas? Don't get gas? Threat level 2. Browsing at the grocery store? Threat level 3. These are all things I do. Taking a walk? These are the only things I can afford to do. Hiking? Oh my God. Now I'm getting nervous. Staying at a hotel? Well, I ain't got enough money for that. I got a family of 6. Can you imagine how much money I spend staying at hotels? Take your kids to the playground. Thank goodness my kids like their devices and stay shut up in their room. Attending a farmer's market. These are very specific. Walking through downtown. Going to an art museum. Waiting in a doctor's office. Dun, dun, dun! All right, I'm done playing. Anthony would be proud. The playgrounds are open now. What sources of the articles? I don't see any. That one was eatthis.com. The previous one was from yahoo.com about Dr. Fauci. And then I posted a Twitter link on that one. Dr. Fauci says, I think we're going to be going in the right direction towards approaching some degree of normality as we head into 2021 in the second, third, and fourth quarter of 2021. And I said, translation, about the same time Trump leaves office, COVID-19 will no longer be a serious threat. I'm approximately 0% surprised. And I bet you guys are 0% surprised as well. I think we're going to go ahead and head on to the next chapter here. We've got hold up. I don't need that no more. We'll click out of that one. All right, so I don't know if you guys follow religion at all. I don't tend to, mostly. For those of you who don't know me, I've been an atheist since probably late middle school, 7th, 8th grade or so, when I started kind of drifting away from Christianity. So I was really interested. I seen a number of articles came up. Let me see if I can get them in the correct order. That would be a grand idea. So let's see. I want to play the. Let's start here. I got a number of directions I'm trying to go. So let me get my shit straight. And this is normally where I get to get my stuff together when Anthony's talking. I can bring up my links and stuff. It helps a lot. Lady Della is atheist as fuck. I'm really concerned and curious at the same time how atheist a fuck is. All right. So I'm going to play a small audio clip. Did I close out of it? No, I didn't. Here it is. All right, I'm going to play a small audio clip from this Atheist Churches filling their pews. But is atheism a religion, it asks. And this is from scpr.org. And they're basically just talking about some churches that have opened up. A London-based atheist church announced recently would be going on a global missionary tour over the next couple months as cities across the nation have apparently been requesting information on how they can set up their own branches. Founders of the Sunday Assembly, Pippa Evans and Sanderson Jones, are two comedians who say there's more to church than just believing in God, including bettering your life and feeling a sense of community. There's been some negative feedback, however, from atheists who say atheism shouldn't be portrayed as a religion in any way. And I'm kind of two minds of this one. Yes, you might want to cover your ears. No, it's all family friendly. It's all family friendly. So I guess I'm of two minds, because one of the things that I miss about church is the community. I love going to church, and I love interacting with people and connecting and networking, and the sense of helping one another. That kind of thing is really cool. As a matter of fact, there's a church that I used to go to, my wife used to go to rather, and I would go with her, who knew full well where I stood ideologically and did not treat me any different. And I was able to go in there and just have conversations with people. And I loved listening to the pastor. I'm going to give a shout out to Andy down at the Wellspring Christian Church in Spring Hill. I think he's got some online stuff, so you guys can check him out if you'd like. But I loved his sermons. I loved listening to him talk, and he made little jokes, and he made it interesting and kept it fresh and relevant. And I could sit there. I can listen to somebody talk, and I can pull out the parts of it that I agree with or enjoy or am learning from, and I can separate out the rest of it without any problem. I'm not feeling like going there is trying to convert me. They never did try to force it on me, and that's the kind of Christian that I appreciate the most. So that being said, there's a number of things about that I really, really miss, and I really would like to have more of that. So if that's the focus of this church, then great. That's a cool idea. I would love to be able to have a bunch of atheists kind of showing a force, showing up in force, showing that, hey, we're good people too. We can do good things. We're not devil worshipers. We don't believe in that stuff. And we're actually, we believe we have a certain set of beliefs, and that's just how it doesn't happen to be one of them. So let me play this little clip here. I didn't leave myself any notes, so I don't even remember what's said, but I'll remember once it's played. But I just know it was important. All right, Krista, you said your face hurts. Are you going to make up my mind here? You said it's numb, lips sore, numb. Which is it? Totally can't hear me? Oh, got it. She can't hear me because there's some stuff going on at the house.
All right, let's talk with Mike in Brentwood. You're on Air Talk. What do you think of this idea of an atheist church?
Well, first off, I think it's great that they're kind of focusing on the positive aspect of it, because I feel like atheism in general kind of has, people give it a dirty look. People have this real negative association, and for a lot of us that are kind of practicing, we're not practicing atheists, but those that have atheist beliefs, it's more of a celebration of life. It's a celebration of, this is the time we have. Let's take the most advantage of it. And a collection of people where they can come together and share that with each other. I mean, I think that's it.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of. I remember what I wanted to say about that. Yeah, basically that's kind of where I'm at. I got this idea that we only have one life. I'm going to live it to the fullest. I'm going to make the most out of this one life that I do have. I don't believe that I'm going to move on to the this other world after I die. I don't believe in a soul and a spirit or ghosts or none of that stuff. That stuff doesn't exist. When I die, I die. I'm plant food basically at that point. So that gives me the power and drive, the incentive to get the most out of this life as I can while I'm here. It's why I'm constantly busy doing things. I'm always chasing after things I'm interested in, and I'm always trying to develop my philosophies and try to get them out to people and try to explain this to people and stuff. It's just I try my best to make the most out of this one life, and I think that's something that a lot of us should do. And I have a feeling a lot of people are living safer than they probably should, thinking that there is going to be an afterlife. I'm not saying I don't know yes or no, but I don't believe there is. But I would be better off, in my mind, living as if there were no afterlife, only to turn and find out, oh, in fact, there is an afterlife. Okay, that's cool. But to live my entire life thinking there's going to be an afterlife, and then dying, and then I don't know how this existentially works, realizing that there's no afterlife, that would totally destroy my entire world. Except I'm already dead, so never mind. You get the point. Where you talk to me is your church. All right, we're having church right now, right here, right now. So I got one more clip off this I wanted to play toward the end that I thought was a pretty good one here. Let me see if I can find it. 1447. And there we go. Here we go.
we go on is that, I mean, it often gets described as the Atheist Church, but we always make it really clear that we're actually welcoming of people of all faiths, but there's just going to be no faith which comes from the front. Indeed, the one which has been set up in Brighton has been set up by a Christian, but what we do is we just try to celebrate this one life we know we have. So I always want to sort of make sure that that comes across. And I think in that answer, it also shows that we're not dogmatic in saying this, has to be the case, you have to think like this. Though truth be told, the number one issue we have had is with the sort of dogmatic atheists who don't like to have anything which is part of a congregation or has joining in or has singing. There's a very funny sort of group which are actually sort of quite intolerant because apparently the way we don't believe in God is not the right way to not believe in God.
Yeah, so there you go. Apparently there's a lot of atheists that are trying to tell this church that the way that they don't believe in God is not the right way to not believe in God. And it's hilarious because I don't think people realize this, but on both sides of the equation, whether you are religious or not, the same types of people do tend to merge. You have those people that are Christians that are like, okay, no, the Bible says this and that's how we're going to do it and that's how it's going to be. And then you got atheists that are like, no, atheism means this and this is how it's got to be and you got to believe this way. It's like, you guys would get along splendidly, I'm sure. And I think that's where you actually see a lot of the tension between the two sides happen. But, when you got Christians and atheists alike that are like, hey, yeah, I don't care what your beliefs are. Come to my church. Come hang out. Come be here with us. And we'll just, have a good old time together and we'll help the community together. Like, that's great. That's awesome. That falls right within my principles and beliefs. So the non-aggression principle and just letting people do what they're going to do and believe what they're going to believe as long as it's not hurting anybody. I'd be all for an atheist church, and I'd love to actually start one. However, I don't think down here in the Bible Belt of the South, there's exactly a huge following of atheists. And oddly enough, I did attend an atheist group down in Murfreesboro from where I live. And there was probably like 20 people there. It was kind of a little get-together, cookout kind of thing. And it was really weird because the way they talked sounded very dogmatic. It sounded, I don't know. It was interesting because my kids were little and they were off playing. And somebody says to me, oh, look at our little heathen children playing together. I was like, what are you talking about? And it also turns out that according to studies, I think it's around 70% of atheists are also on the left and also very, very liberal. And I don't tend to get along ideologically with people who are liberals. In general, just we don't see eye to eye, even though we agree on the atheism aspect. But it's really weird. I'm in the minority in terms of atheists are concerned. You're not going to meet many of me. All right, trying to make my kids. Oh, sorry. Okay, so yeah, that guy's volume was really low, and I think that's not. I think that's on my. I think that's my bad, and I have no way to turn that up. So I apologize for that. Hopefully it'll be fixed in post-edit when I post this to the podcast form. All right. And that's not all I wanted to cover on that because there's something else that come up. We got the Islamic communities contain tsunamis of atheism that are being suppressed, says leading ex-Muslim. And there was a documentary that come out that exposed the silent challenges facing those who abandon their Muslim faith. And it had me begging the question is, what is the punishment for abandoning your faith? And common knowledge, especially here in the United States, especially here in the South, especially around conservative types, would have you believe that Muslims, if they are caught leaving the religion, it's death. That's their punishment. And Christians would have you believe that, if somebody leaves the religion, it's fine, whatever, there's no death penalty involved in that. And I started doing some research. And interestingly, I come to find out that I'm hearing almost the exact same story from both sides. I'm hearing the story of, it's much like the right and the left, the Democrats and the Republicans, and any of these divide issues that you keep hearing about. It's like one side's saying, hey, we're good, the other side's evil. And then the other side's saying, we're good, the other side's evil. Nobody thinks they're the bad guy. But here's what I was finding. Let me finish reading a couple spots from this article that I wanted to touch on here. It's a hidden challenge for people here in Britain. It's framed in this context of identity politics, racism, and any criticism means you're racist. But we are minorities within minorities, and we have a right to speak and live our lives the way we want the same as everybody else, she said. There's a tsunami of atheism in Muslim communities across the globe and in Britain. It's a time bomb that can't be seen but is exploding. There needs to be more recognition so people can get the support they need. Exposure, which will be aired on October 13th, or was aired on October 13th, reveals the dangers ex-Muslims face after they renounce their faith, with many at risk of suicide or self-harm, as well as physical and psychological abuse from family members. She says, I feel like when you leave Islam, your intelligence gets attacked. They make you feel like you're stupid for making such a decision, which he felt like this his entire life. Leaving Islam, becoming an ex-Muslim, all of a sudden you feel like you're dirty and you've become unimportant within the community. And that's ironic, because when I was in the process of renouncing my religion and being an atheist, I'm a little more stubborn and bullheaded than most people, but I do very distinctly remember, almost this black sheep kind of feel that, people kind of look down on you and they make you feel dumb. Like, how can you not believe in God? What an idiot. I could basically put my same story within the context of that paragraph and it would match, like line for line. Because I experienced a lot of the same things. Like, they make you feel like you're evil and you're a devil worshiper, and which doesn't make sense logically, but it's like they suffer the same kind of shit that Christians put atheists under. And I don't want to group all atheists or all Muslims or anything like that. I'm just talking kind of in generalities here. And we know the kind of Christian we're talking about. We may not be as familiar with the kind of Muslim we're talking about because of our country of origin. But this is something very real they deal with. So I found this article from Truth Unveiling Islam that says there's no punishment for apostasy in Islam. I thought that was interesting. Because, like I said, I was kind of the understanding that in order to leave the religion meant certain death. And in some cases it probably does, especially for more of the religious zealots that are like super, super into their religion and like the extremist, if you will. Which, again, you have the same thing with Christians as well. And they go on to quote a bunch of Bible verses, or Quran verses rather, showing how, backing up their points. It's what Christians do too. Regardless of what your point is, there's a Bible verse for it. And it turns out it's the exact same thing in the Quran. I was like, my jaw hit the floor. I'm being perfectly honest here. I was this many days old when I found this out. Starts out here. Number 1, in this verse, 2 things are observed. Firstly, in matters of religion, let me blow that up a little bit because I'm really far away. All right. In matters of religion, a person has the freedom of will to choose the religion of his or her choice. A particular religion cannot be enforced on a person. Secondly, the word religion does not stand for Islam only. If this was the case, then it would have been specified as such. And the quote is from the Quran, says, whoever wants to, let him disbelieve. Second verse says, if thy Lord had pleased... if thy Lord had pleased, all those who are on the earth would have believed. All of them wilt thou then force men till they are believers. Next up, many thou wilt kill thyself. I hate this language. Many thou wilt kill thyself with grief, sorrowing after them, if they believe not in his announcement. Anyway, you get the point. So they go through and just list off a bunch of, quotes from the Quran saying, hey, there's no punishment for apostasy. So what is the punishment for apostasy? Apostasy in Islam. So here's what another similarities that I found between Islam and Christianity. Apostasy does not include individuals who are forced to embrace Islam under conditions of duress, or acts against Islam or conversion to another religion that is involuntary, forced, or done as a concealment of our fear or persecution during wartime. Christianity says it's not apostasy if it was done through temptation, deceptions, persecutions, Christian persecuted by the governing powers of the day for their allegiance to Christ. Many Christians were threatened with certain death if they would not deny Christ. So those don't constitute apostasy. I thought that was pretty interesting, the similarities between. So now here's the thing. If I'm going off the Quran and I'm saying, hey, look, Muslims will put you to death if you renounce the faith. Here's the Quranic verses that state as such. As what I've just told you, here it is. Here it is. Now, I could go into the Christian Bible and do the exact same thing. That's the wrong button. Okay, so I could go into the Christian Bible and do the same thing. In Deuteronomy from the Old Testament, it says if your very own brother, here we go with that small text again. Back over here. Plus. There we go. Okay. So if your very own brother or son or daughter or the wife you love or the closest friend secretly entices you, saying, let us go and worship other gods, do not yield to him or listen to him. Show him no pity. Do not spare him or shield him. You must certainly put him to death. Your hands must be the first in putting him to death, and then the hands of all the people. So if you find this out, you need to kill that motherfucker right now. That's what it says. And Deuteronomy goes on to say, and he should go and worship and he should go and worship other gods and bow down to them, or in the sun or the moon, or all the army of the heavens, and you must stone such one with stones, and such one must die. So I know there's a lot of folks that'll hear that and go, well, we don't believe in the Old Testament anymore. That's not even a thing anymore. We all go by the New Testament. Here's the thing. Matthew, what was it? 5:17 to 5:18. It's a very important verse for those of you who think that the Old Testament no longer applies. And in fact, very much does. So Jesus says, do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. I tell you the truth. Until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, nor the least stroke or a pen will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. Now, last time I checked, as far as I know, earth is still here. Heaven, maybe not, I don't know. But it says until heaven and earth disappear. He has not come to abolish the law. I guess my point is, I can take these texts and I can form any kind of narrative that I want. And apparently, Muslims do it too. They do the same thing. They go to their text to justify ex post facto their already deepest held beliefs. Christians and Islamic, all people of all religions, I think, will do this. They'll use their religious text, and they're all written in such a vague way that they can come up with whatever belief system they want to come up with. Punishment for apostasy in the Bible. I've already read that one. Examples of death sentences for apostasy in the days of Moses. So there was a death sentence for those who worshiped the golden calf at Sinai. That's what I get for looking away from the screen. So while Moses was with God on Mount Sinai, God told him to come down immediately to the people because they have corrupted their ways. When Moses arrived at the camp of the Israelites at the foot of the mountain, he was met with a gruesome feasting, and amid the feast there was a golden calf to which the Israelites were worshiping, offering sacrifices to it and bowing down to it. When Moses saw that the people were out of control, he went to stand in the gate of the camp and said, "Who is on the Lord's side, come to me." And all the men from the tribe of the Levi came to gather around him, and Moses commanded them to take their swords and go to and fro from gate to gate throughout the camp and kill all those who were partaking in the worship of the golden calf, male or female. And the Levites did according to the word of Moses, and that day about 3,000 men of the people of Israel died in the camp. I think Dan would tell me that sounds like the book was written by a bunch of Jews trying to gain sympathy. You know, like a old world Holocaust thing going on here. Anyway, Sinai. Thank you for the clarification. All right. Puddin said I can type to myself. All right, so I apologize. I've not been paying attention to the comments today. So much going on both of these screens. All right, so Lady Deli, yeah, that's the word I was thinking of earlier. This is a whole lot of taqiyya, saying one thing and meaning the opposite, a common practice with Islam. So now that's the thing. In just saying that, you basically can use that as a way to discredit everything they say. Taqiyya is, in fact, a thing that's in the Christian religion that says that basically it's not okay to lie to your brother, but it's okay to lie to non-believers. It's okay to lie to other people to try to, basically get your way. I have relatives who believe in Islam, and I've read little of an ounce Quran. It does say infidels should die if they don't convert. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. It does say both things is the point. That's the entire point. It says both things. And it says both things in a number of different ways, apparently, just like the Christian Bible does. The Christian Bible, as I just read to you, says both things in a number of different ways. It's like, you guys are so much alike, you don't even get it. Like, y'all would just quit battling. We could probably have us a good old time. Am I missing something else here? Dan says the Old Testament isn't Christianity, it's Judaism. That may be true. I don't know what the distinctions are, but the fact that if anybody wants to try to say that we no longer follow the Old Testament, just point them to Matthew 5:17, and we'll remove all doubt. So, okay, so how can anyone trust the Bible completely knowing that it was changed to fit man's agenda? That has always been a huge question of mine. A book written by men, changed by men, scrolled, edits made, changes made. Depending on who was in charge, certain changes might have been made. There's small clerical errors that could have happened along the ways that entirely changed the whole meaning of everything. There's so much shit involved in this. And a matter of fact, I completely forgot about that piece I was going to put out. It was a prayer for a Bible rewrite. If I was to become a Christian, my first prayer would be for a complete rewrite of the Bible, and here is the outline it would form. Like, this is the things that it would accomplish, and this is how it would be written. I've got to get that out. I completely forgot. I'm going to write that shit down before I forget again. Okay. All right, Bible rewrite. Got it. That sucks. I got that whole thing done and never put it out. I completely spaced it. So the Vatican is totally known to hide shit from us. Yep, absolutely. Dan says Jesus, speaking to Jews, tells them to continue following the Jewish ways. I don't know. I can see where you could interpret it that way. I could see how it could be interpreted any number of ways. That's the problem with this shit. It can be interpreted so many different ways. And here's the problem is I have yet to find two Christians that agree on what it all means. I mean, if y'all know two Christians that completely agree 100% on what the Bible says, that would blow my mind. I'd love to see that. You got all these different fractured religions and all these different ideas of how can you possibly know what the real law is? Except I feel it in my heart. I hate that. I feel it in my heart. I've experienced things that other people haven't experienced. Meaning you've experienced some things you couldn't explain, so you just attribute it to God, and therefore I was like, dude, come on. People don't use their head when it comes to religion. They kind of just grow up with what they already had to begin with and stick with it. And then just, again, justify it ex post facto. But the whole point of this piece was just to kind of show how these two religions are pretty good mirrors of one another, ironically, in a number of ways. And it just seems like, and from further reading, just for more clarification, it seems like, yes, they took it a lot more serious back in the day, and death penalty as a punishment for apostasy was practiced in both religions. We know the history, and as time moves forward, we kind of start moving away from that. And now, right now you figure Islamic religions are a little bit behind Christianity insofar as, I was dealing with the black sheep bullshit 20 years ago, and they're kind of dealing with it now. A lot of people are coming out of that religion as atheists and finding it incredibly difficult to do so, finding that they're being, repressed or ostracized or, for whatever reason, looked down upon. And as time will progress forward, hopefully all things being equal, we may end up seeing a huge revelation come out of the Islamic culture, where you have a lot of people that still practice a lot of the Muslim cultural type things, but not so much the religious part of it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but Islam basically Christianity for the Middle East. It's pretty good. Yep. Church of Scientology. Oh God, that's a whole nother. Okay. So Dan says, the problem is I was raised Baptist, and Baptists are the most arrogant of all religions. I'm only now dipping my toes into Lutheran, Orthodox, and Catholic shit. There is proper understanding of the Bible. Oh, good Lord. I feel bad for you, buddy, that you feel that way. I don't want to insult you or nothing, but there's not. There's just not. So Carlton Grant says, good night. Are you a Muslim? No, I'm an atheist. And it's very much just as I'm an anarchist standing outside of the gates of the battle between the Republicans and the Democrats, I'm also an atheist, just standing outside the gates between the battle between religions. And I can laugh at all of them equally. And I can say that you kids are more alike than you freaking know it. And you need to learn to shake your hands and get along. It's like a couple of siblings that keep fighting and won't stop. But thank you for the question, Carlton. Carlton asks, what is an atheist? Well, that is beyond the scope of this particular episode since it's already 9 o'clock. But I'll tell you what. We do a private Zoom call right after the show for group members only. So if you want to head over to the website, unframeofmind.com, you can find the links on the Find Us On page. And I will be posting the link first into the Discord channel, and then I will post the link into the Telegram channel. And until the end of the year, I will be posting the link in the Facebook group as well. After the end of the year, I'm not going to be on Facebook no more. I'm not playing that game. Let me wrap up by just talking just a minute on that, just so for anybody that's not paid attention. We've had some issues with Facebook in the past in terms of just getting blocked and things. And Carlton, I appreciate the question. I do want to answer it. Just feel free to hop in there. It's a private group call. No recording. We just in there having a bullshit. We just talk. It's a bunch of people just talking. Like we used to back in middle school. But anyway, we've been having a lot of issues with Facebook, and it's like an abusive relationship that you never know where you stand with them. They're always mad at you for something. You don't know why, and they won't tell you why. And then when you ask them why, they still, no, nothing's wrong. You get the point. So Anthony and I, we decided we're done with Facebook. We're done messing with it, and we want to make the transition over. So I'm asking you guys who are watching right now to please head over to our website, find some of the other social media presences we're on, and join us there. For now, I think we're sticking with YouTube because YouTube ain't really messed with us much, if at all, that I'm aware of. And we'll continue to do that route, but I don't know how much longer that'll last. But anyway, just follow us over there. Find some other places. For me, the biggest one is the Discord community. I really enjoy it. It's just set up in such a way that it makes it really easy to interact with people and have these conversations, including the voice chat room, which is really cool. And I'd love to start using it more often. So anyway, stay tuned for that. You've been watching another episode of the Unframe of Mind show, where we have uncomfortable conversations without a condom. I'm your host, Daniel Wagner, your resident atheist, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the Zoom call here shortly. All right. Peace out.